We're going to teach you how to add texture to your paintings using natural objects. Today, we're offering you a tutorial on how to incorporate natural objects you've found in nature into your paintings. It adds a lot of depth and interest. I think you'll like it. Before Diana jumps into the tutorial though, we'd like to thank our sponsors for this episode. They are doing a lot to support the arts in the South Okanagan, and we're very grateful. So now, with no further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Diana, who's going to guide you through this process.
I am in my home studio and I have a project that I'm doing. It's going to be 15 panels. It's of a trip that I took to Hawaii. So I want to incorporate the colors and the feel that I did when I was traveling. And in my travels, I really take time out to see the small things. So we have all sorts of little shells and rocks. I pick up things along the way. I really like hiking and backpacking, and I always like to bring home little treasures, which therefore I introduce into my paintings. A lot of my abstracts are, if you can see here, we have bark from a beauty tree. I have leaves, rocks, concrete, and different washes. Here I collect a whole bunch of little tiny rocks, just love them. You know how you are at the beach and you pull out a rock and think, wow, this is so pretty. And then by the time you get it home, it's all dried out and it's like, why did I pick this rock up? Anyways, this technique, using self-leveling on top, it keeps them bright. And so I love that stuff. So today I have 4 panels that I've already pre-painted. I've put 2 coats of white down on the 12 by 12 wood, just so it, when I start applying the different mediums, that it actually has something to hold on to. Because when you are incorporating little shells and rocks and pieces of wood that you pick up along the way, and in these times, about the only thing we are allowed to do is go outside and walk. So start collecting, go along collecting, make it a fun thing to do. But just don't take all of it. But when you collect wooden things, you really need to think about having and use those things about the year later, because you really want to make sure that it is all dried up and really quite dry. And you just never know when you pick up a shell if there's anything really living in there. You think it's dead, but it's very good to keep things around and use them like maybe 6 months down the road or something. So like I said, 12 by 12 wood boards, because when you're putting these down on the board, you want it very stiff. You don't, canvases move, and eventually these things will fall off, unless they're tiny little wee ones. So 4 down already gessoed. It's not gessoed, I'm sorry. I used white, titanium white. So we have the 2 coats of white paint on the 12 by 12 cradle. And again, I'm doing a series, like a big 15 panels, 3 this way and 5 that way. So I've never done one of those before, so it'll be an interesting, and I want each one to look different but all cohesive So the trick with that is, I think, is using just the same kind of color throughout in different hues. All right, so I have my little pack of shells, slate rock, little bits of bark. It's so fun being outside and just finding these. You just look at things differently when you start finding, oh, you know, this is cool. So I had to put that in my pocket, and I'm excited to use it. And it's been drying for a while. The other day I went out for a hike up at Campbell Mountain, and I found a bark, like a piece of bark from the tree, and I just never I've noticed it, of course, on the tree, but I've never really taken a good look at the bark itself. And it's like puzzle pieces, which is really cool. So you could just pull off just the different puzzle pieces. So I picked up one about a year ago now, and it's really super dry, so I can use that one, but I did pick one up just the other day. I will be using, besides the natural things, I will be using heavy, well, this one's for the rocks up in here. After you have it on, put it on, you put it self-leveling over it. I've got all my golden products. I really enjoy golden. There's a light molding paste and a heavy molding paste. I'll use some light just right now to build the textures up. Oh, let me see. What tool do I want? Oh, let's see. Oh, let's do this one. Just go right in there. This one, light molding paste, holds a stiff peak, creates high texture. You know, everyone's different, so we're all gonna have different ones. So just put it where you think you might want to put it. I love the lots of texture up. Build throughout. And to be fun, you can put different brushes, strokes. Wow! Smooth. And you can't go wrong. You just keep working it the way then in 1 minute or 2 minutes or whatever you think, oh, that's enough, no more. Or I'm gonna have more fun with this. People say, do you ever have an idea what you're doing? When they look at the painting, did you start off with a vision? And I say to myself, should I tell them the truth? No. It just turns into something. Yeah. So take your time. I'm using right here the molding paste. I'm going to put that one away. And if you're planning, when you're going to add some of these natural things, you need a good heavy, it's a heavy matte gel. This is, so when I'm looking at this, it's going to be probably the first one on the top. So I think I want most of the heaviness down in here. I'm gonna put some shells and things in this corner. So I'm building this up. Take it right off to the sides. And I'm gonna leave a little bit on the bottom. So that was heavy gel. So I'm going to add to that, just not enough room on my table here. Ooh, this is going to be cool. In Hawaii, you look at some of the sand beaches, and when the sun hits it a certain way, you can see the sparkling of the sand. So what I'm going to use here is a little bit of glass bead gel. And so when this dries, it has these little glass beads. And I'm going to just add little pieces to the heavy gel that I just put down. I just love a lot of texture. And there may be some up in here, a little sparkle here and there. Okay, so I like this one better. So let's put some of the little shells in amongst in the heavy gel, making sure it's really down on there. Got to press quite a bit and make sure that it's surrounded. Can you see that? It's really in there because it's going to have a nice base from the paint, and then all the gel around it is just going to grab onto it. It's like having a ring on your finger with a big stone and it has the claws to keep it there. And put some more little shells here and there. And I have this nice rock slate. Let's see, where should I put that? Let's put it right here where I put the sparkle in there. So it'll actually bounce off the rock. The little glass beads. And we don't want to go crazy with all the things, because you could always add more later. So this will dry, and then you can take a look at it and think, well, no, you know what, I want a little more height and depth here, and put something else there. So, you know, it's going to take days, because this will have to dry about 24 to 48 hours, depending on how warm your room is. And then you have to look at it, check whether or not that's what you want, add more, do some washes, some glazes. You'll see later the glazes, and then you want to overlay just some with the self-leveling. That would be your last step. And if you don't like self-leveling really shiny, what I do is like sand it very softly. You have to do it, sand it very softly. And then you can add gold wax medium on top. So it's not really shiny. This stuff is great for if you haven't covered totally the bark. Now that'll dry up and go, you know, brittle. So I put the gold wax medium on top. It's like beeswax, and that stays for forever. Years! That's all we want to make. So I'm gonna carry on. I got some coarse pumice gel, and it's a darker, and it'll dry darker too. So this gives me the look and the feel of sand. And that stuff just makes me, woo, you know. So we'll put some there just to give it the feel. I just love playing with all this stuff. In one of them, I want to like make a tree. I saw somebody else do this, and this is how we learn, right, from other people. Using person used glue gun, just right on, and used it as ring, and was really quite interesting, and I liked the effect. So that's the course, and then I have this black mica flake, which is fun too. I'm going to add some little spots of that throughout. There. Now, what do I think about that? I think I'm not quite done yet. Okay. So we're gonna let that dry. No, I want to add a little bit more. I want more gel on for more texture up in here. And then I'll say that's. Just scrape it on. And I still have a little bit of the pumice on here, so it's really there. And what do we have? So we have a few little shells, a piece of the slate rock, we have heavy gel, and we have molding paste, we have pumice, mica, and pearl. So let's see what that looks like when it dries. It's about 48 hours, and I've taken it upon myself to put on here. You could see that there's a lot of blue on here. It is a glaze, and I'll be building up glazes after glazes just to get some different textures and depth. What you will see here is that I've added some rocks, like I said, that if you look at it the next day and you think, well, I did do that. Well, and I want to add this. So I'm going to go right into it. I'm using a translucent heavy one to hold this rock in. And since I have blue under there, I want it to still come through around the rock that you can see. So I will put that on, if I can find my handy dandy. To scoop in there, I want it thick, thick, thick. And like I say, it's white when you put it on, but it'll turn see-through, which is nice. I just covered my little shell. I was going to add in another shell. So the glaze I'm using is a phthalo blue red shade, and I mixed it a little tiny bit with the bronze fine to just let it get warm. It warms it up, and it catches the paste marks. So put that like that, like we're talking lots of paste for this one because it is a bigger one. So I'm going to put it there, squish, 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 squish it in, bring it up and around, shape it the way you like it. Just add to there. And then I have a little rock with holes in it. I kind of like it to go there. And then I have the shell. It's the inside of a shell actually, but I like the pattern that's on the top, and I'm going to put that right down below. And like I said, this will all turn clear, and it'll be able to pick up the blue that I've already put down. Just use your fingers, get in there. It's so much fun. There we go. And you see, I don't know if you can see very well, but you can see the sparkle of the beads. The glass beads have dried, and it has a nice little sparkle to it. Just putting it up there. So this will, again, take some time to dry, but once it's dry, you can paint on top of it. So I'll just show you what I've done. I love these little containers with plastic lids. So I have the mixture with the different glazes. There's a little blob of phthalo blue, red shade, and then the bronze. And I'll show you up here what you can do. This is one glaze. Let's put another one on top. What brush? Let's use this one. So that's going to be quite wet through there, so I won't be touching here. But if you see through here where the paste was and it's lifted, so I'll go like this with my brush into the glazes, and I will just go on the tops of these so it catches the light. And here I want it a little darker. It's like it's the bottom of the water. Like, you know, everyone's different. Everyone's going to have a different look or feel. Things I want to smooth out, I will get my famous little makeup brush. And it really nicely blends because you don't want too many edges, sharp edges. So you swirl it around. Yeah, you just keep doing that, and you keep adding, you add, and then you do some more glazing on top. I'm going to add a little bit more white up in here, I think. And down through here you can catch some light of the bronze. I'd do that, yeah. A little bit of bronze. Just warms everything up nicely. A little dabble do ya. With a little blue, because then it mimics the water. This kind of art goes in different stages. It's building, it's building, it's building, until you feel that this is done. So like you could see, you start here, you add that, you do this, and then eventually it's to what you want. And I really encourage you to try, get outside, pick up things and incorporate them in your artwork. Thanks.